The library system started in the U.S. or who started it? Who helped?
New York?
Ben Franklin, that's right. And what he did was he wanted to start this library system so he can make books accessible to every common person, because he knew the power of knowledge. But as we know, 85% of our current library is not being used. And so what do we do about that? And so I think the first thing we do is we get people who are kind of popular, maybe famous, someone with a little clout to influence people to say, hey, go to your library and check out a book, and here's why. For example, when I was going to the University of Central Florida, I had Pat Williams, who was he's the senior vice president of the Orlando Magic, and he came and spoke to us, and he just rocked my world when it came to reading. And he said, guys, look, this is why you need to read. Because just like you go to the gym to work out, your brain needs to work out. And the only way you can do that is by reading. And so ever since then, I've fallen in love with reading. A second thing, which is kind of maybe an outside idea, is maybe pull in some ideas from Walmart. What Walmart does is when they want to sell a product, they put that product to the end of the aisles. And so maybe we can take some of those books that haven't been in circulation and put them at the end of the aisles on different displays. Say, here's the aerospace section, check out these really cool books. Instead of having them all lined up in the aisles where nobody's probably going to really look, you have it at the end. And the last one I want to talk about is maybe we should go digital, like he said. Maybe we should change all the books to digital, because that's kind of the way the world's going. And if we need to get rid of the paper books, we can sell them. Because I know that my old school used to have book sales all the time at the library. And they sold those books very cheap, and they sold a lot. So I think that's probably the best solutions we have to the books in the library. So to end it off, just to say, I encourage you guys to go read. Go check out those books. Your taxpayer money pays for it. Your parents, or if you work, you're paying for it. They're your books. Go read and have some fun.
Anil, you went for 2 minutes. You only had 2 uhs. They're not concerning because it was right before senior VP and one time before you said library. So they're not terribly concerning.
Okay.
I would say one strength you have is your voice has some type of confidence to it, so it's not shaky, I would say. How would we say was Anil's eye contact? Let's look at the front row. Osvaldo, Nick, Danielle.
He looked at me several times. It was awesome.
I remember one meeting we had that activity. Everyone rose their hand and they had to put it down when you looked at them. I think everyone would put down their hands when you speak. You even looked at me back here. That's awesome.
I don't think he looked at me per se.
Okay.
I would say one thing. I do think you hit everyone, but I felt like you predominantly focused on the front row, which is kind of why I emphasized the front row, and that you were like this pretty much not the whole time, but you did look up, but it was maybe 70%, I would say, at the front row. Would someone agree with me, or would anyone agree with me?
No, I would agree, but I think it's because a lot of people are here. I'm sure if there's a group of people back there, Neil would look back there.
So just be certain that if there was audience back there, just to notice, hey, I should look back there as well.
Don't forget about the people in the back.
How would we say? I would say another strength of yours was your body movement. That you did hit each of the thirds, and I realized like, yes, the third point, you're at the back, or not the back, but the middle, which was something I kind of said once.
So I mean, that's a very good thing for all this as well. Is you see how Neil, he cued what he said towards his movement. So he said first, and then he moved over there. Second, and then to end it up. That's a good way to make sure that you're only moving when you say those keywords. That's very good that you did that.
And I would say one thing I think we should comment on, speed of delivery. Do we think it was too quick at some times, too slow, or just right?
I mean, I thought you just right. You were excited at some points. You spoke more faster, and the other points you were more serious.
Yes.
So then that's the other strength there is, I'll just say, is your tone. What tone do we think Neil had there?
I think it was sincere, almost scholarly. There was something about your speech, and I mean this as a compliment. It felt like a really good TED Talk. When you were talking, it was really nice.
And you see how that tone fits his content, which makes it that much more dynamic. That's why tone is so important. That's why we went over at this meeting.
So if we could give Anil one key takeaway. I know we mentioned the eye contact, for large audience. One key takeaway for next time. What would we say, Tiffany?
I would say change the tone a little bit.
Change the tone?
Yeah.
Okay. Would anyone else add to something?
Miller, what would you
started off a bit soft. I would start off, remember you can build variation in volume in automatically by when you first start speaking, speak loud. Tonight we're going to talk about libraries, and then you drop down and speak in a more normal tone. You get 2 for the price of 1. You get change in volume, and also you grab their attention. And but I thought your tone, your volume was appropriate for the space, but it started off just a bit soft.
Okay.
And then you started off soft and then came up, but then you kept constant at a volume good enough for the space for the rest of the time. That was good.
Definitely. So I'd say maybe next time, eye contact, and try to maybe start it with that booming voice to see how that works for you.
All y'all ought to do that. Y'all always start
All
your
of us.
speech off in a way that grabs the audience's attention.
Because you did a good job there at the end in wrapping it, because you're just going to end with that, and you said no, but to end it, you ended it powerfully.
Okay.
So just
Cool.
make the introduction. But
Thank
very
you.
good overall, though.
Thank you, guys.